New at 5, a bill banning social media for all Oklahoma kids under the age of 16 is one step closer to becoming law.
The Oklahoma House passed the bill, which also would require teens ages 16 and 17 to have their parents' permission to join social media.
Fox 23 anchor Rick Marinon is live tonight with a closer look at the bill. Rick, this comes just one day after the U.S. House passed a bill regulating TikTok.
And while they focus in Washington, D.C. specifically on TikTok, Oklahoma's bill involves TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, all of the big ones, all under one bill. Less than 24 hours after the U.S. House voted to crack down on TikTok, the Oklahoma House voted to crack down on all social media for children under 16.
We're talking about your large social media entities, so you're talking about those related to Meta, so Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, basically those.
The Oklahoma House passed with bipartisan support House Bill 3914. In addition to banning social media for kids under 16, it would allow for 16 and 17-year-olds to be able to access social media only with verified parental consent. The bill applies to all social media companies now and in the future that have an annual revenue of $100 million. That means Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and any other platform that will rise in popularity in the future that we can't even think of yet.
And I think the goal here is we are trying to not be overly restrictive, but we want to take a look at the social media platforms that the overwhelming majority of our teens are using.
Similar to the concerns we heard on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., state lawmakers like Enid Republican Chad Caldwell are concerned about cyberbullying, as well as social media algorithms being used to feed junk and dangerous content to kids.
If you're a kid, you try to go to an R-rated movie, they're not going to let you do it. You got to show some form of identification, or you have to have a parent sitting there next to you. We're basically adopting that same concept.
Lawmakers say they are still working on the age verification portion of the bill. They want people to prove their age, but they don't want a social media, cell phone, or internet company to have to store people's private information long term. One idea is using an app store to do the verification. They are trying to thread the needle between verification and privacy. Once this takes effect, social media companies will have about 45 days to actually implement these changes. And even after it takes effect and that 45 days is done, if any problems arise, there's another 45 days to correct any issues that come up. Other than that, they can easily be sued by the state's attorney general. Live in the newsroom covering news that matters, I'm Rick Marinon, Fox 23 News.
The bill will now be heard by the state Senate. If passed in the Senate, it would not go directly to the governor's desk, as most legislation does. In this case, this legislation would go back to the House for one more vote before going to the governor.